Hello, everyone. There are many of you who wants to listen about startup. Actually, like, if I count the number of you here, we can set up startup. So that's my suggestion. Okay, so we don't have a lot of time, and I want to give you as many advices as possible. Because it relates not only to startup. Startup is just a dynamic company that you need to quickly adapt. And maybe what you will find during the presentation will be useful for you as well, even working for big corporations. Okay, what about me? Now I'm working in Brainly. It's an educational platform. It's challenging because our target group is Generation Z. I don't know if you have anyone at the company born after 2000. If yes, then probably you know what that means. If not, then you don't even realize what that means. We set up CrackUA, and last year I worked for PetCube. That's a startup in Kyiv. So I spent there like year and a half. We've been doing cameras for pets, trees launcher, and so on. Nice stuff, and it was startup as well, of course. Yeah, now I live in Krakow. I speak Polish. I don't speak Russian, sorry. Except privet and something like that. And some useful stuff like, I cannot say it publicly, but very useful on the street. Okay, let's start. So before we go forward, what the hell is startup? So if I would ask you to define in 2 sentences, so what the startup is, would you be able to answer? Really small company. Yeah, that's very good. That's very good explanation. I like how Urban Dictionary defines it. Actually, Urban Dictionary defines everything in a nice way. And this one is the company formed with a business model relying on the internet. Yeah, good idea. Found on the internet. Let's set up startup. But to not get you bored with all those definitions, because you can find a lot of them, I give you mine after like 6 last years spent in 4 different startups. At first, it's company focused on growth. We want to grow as fast. We want to deliver on the market as fast as possible. We just want to earn money to have people. Second one, it's technology, because if I said new pizzeria in my neighborhood, that's probably not startup. So it should be technology. And the third one is searching business model. So when we set up, we have no customers. We cannot sell it because we have no product. And we need to find business model until we have money from investor probably, but we're still looking for our business model. Now, when you think about any company, there is always dilemma: quality, speed, and price. I assume your companies are more focused on price and speed, less on quality. And in terms of startup, actually, that's very important, because speed is must-have. Like, you must be quick. And then you have price, but you don't have money, so it's important. So where is the place for quality? Well, during today's presentation, I will give you a few sentences from Richard Branson. Do you know that guy? He's a very startupper. I recognized him when he invested in Formula One company. I think it was called Brown or something like that. But then discovered he's very startup guy and very smart guy. So what he said, working since almost the beginning of his career in startups, that the cheapest way to do it, or what's okay, you can read it. What I mean is that the cheapest way is not the best way, even if you are focused on the speed. And that's key point of today, that even if we are focused on speed, quality is still very crucial. Now, let me start with step -1. Why step -1, not step 1 or 0 like preparation? Because even before we start, the company need to, I don't know if it's not too close, the company need to realize that something goes wrong, that we need that quality, because at the beginning, nobody cares about quality. And I call that stage realizing. And realizing means the company says, oh damn, we have problem, like we need to do something. we have customers complaining, we have bad quality product, we spend a lot of time on maintenance, let's solve it. So why that happens actually? Or what cause that information that we have a problem? I found out 3 reasons during my career. First one is what the fuck from the customer. Something stops working, we have major functionality, stops working. We never thought about testing it, and now it's not working. And not happy customer is not the best customer for us. And if we are a startup, we have probably one product only. If that product is not satisfying our customer, then we have 0 product to satisfy our customer. A little bit problematic. Then the second one is about people inside the company. It's like I'm super frustrated because I spent a lot of time fixing bug, a lot of time trying to stabilize something. I cannot do new functionalities because of our technical debt. So that's about people inside. The third one is about money, and money touch mostly C-level or management. If we lose money, well, that's signal for me I need to do something with that. So I can count what was the loss, I can count how much I lost, and then finally do something. And the fourth one, anything else that costs interest of C-level, because they are budgeting all the positions around the company. Now, from my experience, that's the moment when 3 magical words arrive. Let's hire someone. Let's hire someone to save the world and improve our quality. And then you came and say, oh, quality issues, you say. Yeah, so I'm here. I need a year and a half to fix it. What? Well, we need to do it in 1 month, but I need a year and a half. And that's how the story begins. That's the very classical conversation. Now, step 0, exploring and staffing. Exploring, I mean, getting deeper into the company, and staffing, that's finding good people. Well, at first, we need to encourage the company. Why do we need more people? Well, we found you. You are the great guy. You can fix it. Why do we need more people? We need to deliver functionalities, not spending money on fixing bugs. And I have a few tips how we can find the reason to encourage company to find and to hire good people. When I joined, there was always one QA. And you can imagine, it's one QA doing click, 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 without possibility to speak loudly around the company, how we can improve globally across the organization, how we can improve even locally inside the team, because I have no time, I need to click. And then when that person is not able to click anymore because the day has only 8 hours of working, and I sometimes want to take vacation, but what I discovered is that those people who are working as a single QA, they have aggregated like 30 or 40 free days since 2 or 3 years. And that's another scary thing, because if that person say, I have enough, I'm done. Now I'm back in 2 months. That's a problem. So the solution could be gather statistics. And the first one is to count how much time do you spend on proper activities. And here is a good example. It's not visible very good, but I can say 40%, that's just manual testing. That's not what we want to do, even if we are manual testers, because we want to influence the company quality, not just click. Then we have bugs verification, which means retesting. That's important, but not to spend too much time. And here we have meetings. So in total, we have 70% or 75% spent on more or less useless or exchangeable activities, something we can improve. So that's probably we have only 25% spent on creative activities for that person, for that QA, who's actually burning out very quickly if you do such stuff. Then gather metrics, even better, money, counted in dollars or any other currency, but dollars is like international currency. And you can find whatever was in the past. So I started just trying to aggregate information, what went wrong. So for example, people couldn't subscribe. They couldn't pay, basically. So we couldn't earn money. It took like a month for one platform, and the average before was like 100 people per day. Very easy to count how much money. That could be another problem, like some primary functionality just causing people are leaving our application. So they're installing and then, no, uninstall. And that's how we approach, yeah? When you install and say, I don't like this application, then you just uninstall. There is so competition on the market. There are no more monopolies. Or in technology world, well, even if you think about, I don't know, pets industry, there is Uber for pets. You can just rent someone and walk out with your pet for $5 for 15 minutes. So it's covered, everything is covered. What else? Registration failure. If I'm not registered, I cannot pay. If I cannot pay, the company doesn't earn money. Or any performance issue. If my page is loading 5 seconds, probably I can use competitor's site with the same business model. Then prepare roadmap. So argue what is your plan? What do you want to do in the closest quarter, half a year, doesn't matter. But one important thing, don't consider your current capacity, which means 1 or 2 people, as a starting point. Just show what you would like to achieve and then aggregate people and find out people, how many people, how much competencies, what kind of competencies you should have to achieve that goal. So it's like not creating roadmap based on current resources, but what should be the ideal situation. That's my target, and then what I need to achieve that. And then hopefully, just hopefully, but for what I know, it's working. Sometimes it takes half a year to count that statistics, sometimes a week, but hopefully you can have a team, you can have a great QAs with good competencies that you will find. And then time for step 1. And we are almost 20 minutes into the presentation. Step 1, I called it action time, and that's the only step today. Step 1, but very long step. What actually means being a great QA agent in startup? 4 major points. The first one, being a great leader, because everything starts with the people. And another sentence from Richard Branson, and that's my totally favorite. If you take care of your people, of your employees, they will take care of your customer. And what I would do, talking to executives, managers, is to take a hammer and nail it until they understand it. That people at first place. And then, if you have good people, motivated people, they will take care of everything else. So that's the sentence you should remember from today. At first place, help and protect. So if you are that guy, and remember, being manager is not only when you have manager in the title. You can be manager by heart, or you can be leader by heart. That kind of informal leaders, I have many of them. I met many of them during my career, and those guys are perfect. So they have just regular position, but they can trigger to action. They can just, hey, let's do it. They can generate ideas. So never think about the manager or leader as a name of position. Help and protect. What does it mean? Well, when someone has problem, because, well, I am a normal guy, I cannot talk to someone, and you are smarter, you are better, well, just discuss it with your managers or your colleagues, and maybe we can solve it. The second thing is building feedback culture. Any of you can say you have good feedback culture around your company. Average enough? Any feedback culture? Okay. From what I know, it's one of the most important things. So probably you have one-on-ones, regular thing. You need to meet like one of the guys and then talk to them. I like this, I don't like this. See you next week. That's good, but it's not like I'm not gonna to talk about the receiving and giving feedback culture, but about what we can achieve by that and what it's worth, because we have time for that. Then we have team feedback culture. So you have the team, like your own team, and you are free to give and receive feedback. But without having one-on-one good feedback culture, you cannot achieve that. And the last thing is continuous feedback. And I suppose you are not so lucky to have that or to have had that at any time in the past. But what I mean by continuous feedback, and that's the first time I build it at current company, is that any of your team can go at any time to any of your team members and say, you screw up, you should do it better, or you should improve it. Let's think how we can achieve that. And there is no aggression, there is no like hard feelings, it's just informative way. Is the information you can improve. I mean, you can improve yourself by getting that information. But why do we need it? Because that's the best way to full transparency around the team. And full transparency is just the way to have highly efficient teams. You can check the book, it's called Accelerate. It's written by Jess Humble. That's the guy taking care of DevOps and continuous delivery. And it's about building high efficient teams. And you see, we are talking about continuous delivery and DevOps, so very technical stuff, but without transparency, we cannot have good technical stuff, which means fast delivery and continuous integration part. Then trust and give ownership. So give ownership. Do you feel you have ownership at your company? Kind of. But it can be any level of ownership. It can be just small task and you say to the person, hey, that's your task. If you need any help, just let me know. But you need to deliver it. It's just giving the trust, giving the ownership, and just letting to act. And people like that ownership because they have influence. They are not just executors, but they are like people who can trigger, who can invent, who can try. Perfect way. And let them grow. So if I would be at the company who doesn't let me grow, I would leave it like very quickly. I don't like to spend time just doing the same stuff every day. And by letting them grow, I mean give them some time to self-development or request from your managers time for self-development. Well, it seems like company pays you for self-developing. Why the hell they pay me? And or I have pay you to let you just learn something? But there is a value from that. At first, it's connected with the company very often because you learn technical skills. And second, you are motivated because you can develop yourself. So that's how you should spend your time as well. And that's half a year later when I measured some like activities, proper activities from my team members. As you can notice, I called it just QA internal. By that, I mean building quality across the organization. Starting from simple stuff like how should you report bugs, what kind of information you should provide, how we can work over exploratory testing sessions, and so on. There's almost 50% spending on that kind of activities. And manual testing, retesting, and so on is now not 70, but 30%. So we cannot avoid it, but we should decrease it as much as possible. Okay, so being a great leader, that's one stuff. The second one, like being a great QA is nice feature when you want to be a good QA. Yeah. So what I mean here by great QA is like very broad topic, and that's what you are doing every day. But at first, put quality requirements into your product. It can be anything. That's from my experience. When you try to force to put quality requirements into project, that's very painful for product owner, Scrum Master, whatever. But I have some suggestions you can try. The first one is definition of done. Very simple. It's probably Scrum thing. About Scrum later, because I'm not great fan, despite 2 certificates of Scrum something. But definition of done is very common thing. That's perfect because it's formalized. And then definition of ready. We cannot start until we have some requirements, quality requirements. Then non-functional requirements, that's very useful. For example, performance one. But if it's not written, if it's not formalized somewhere, probably nobody take care of it. And the last one, scope and ownership, which means try to have the person who has ownership. Ideally developer or product owner or someone, not QA, because if you do it, if you put ownership on QA, it will be always QA stuff. That's obvious. And you want to have the team taking care of quality somehow. Then get inspired by what other companies are doing, because people can do good things. Try to not reinvent the wheel once again. So how they do QA? Just few examples. In Facebook, they have developer-driven testing, which means like no QAs. About it in a while. Amazon, they deploy first and they test later. They have like 2,000 deployments per day, and it takes like 2 seconds to everyone. Then Spotify, they have chapters and so on and so on. There's a common model. And then Atlassian, they have something called quality assistance, but it's much wider topic. But never copy it all. If you do something like Facebook, I met it once. So no QAs, developers will do testing. So our target is to have no dedicated QAs, but not no QAs at all. So that's our target. And the way to that is not to fire all QAs. It won't work. And that's what very often happens for some reason. So we want to get to point B without the road in between. So then it's not how it used to be. So I know the story, like they fired all the QAs and then trying to build it once again, 3 years. And measure, observe, control, react. So have something as a background to show and to present. That can be anything, priority and statuses, quantity over time, whatever you wish you want to put. But metrics are, unfortunately or fortunately, important. And then you can talk to people and say, that's how you work now. We need to improve it. And incorporate risk. Risk is very important. Just an example, we started doing risk assessment of bugs and taking care of most important at first. Not just criticality, but more factors to take into consideration. And that's how it should work. So we take care of the most important and speed up it. But at first, educate. And that's your stuff. You should educate people as much as possible because you are good experts. Okay, third thing is fast mover. What I mean by that? Well, it's startup, so you need to adapt. It's fast-changing environment. And the most important, Richard Branson again, don't be afraid of taking failures, because making failures is the great way to learn. I mean, if you do it once, of course, not like repeating over and over again. But if you take care of learning from mistakes, then that's your source of knowledge. And what is the value? Well, it speeds up making decisions because you don't consider every pros and cons, but you can just act, and act is important. Then decrease cost of regret is human thing, so I'll just skip it. Enable experimenting, so I have idea, I will try it, not just think about it. And then it lets you grow because you try new things. Then use any possible source of information. What it could be, whatever you want. Rating and comments in App Store. You can prepare script and just pull all the comments, and every 1 star or 2 stars find the key words and find out what's wrong. Amazon reviews if it's hardware, customer feedback if you have customers channel, or company support if you had that, or anything else. Those just are examples. And don't do agile, be agile. And what is the problem with startups? Well, most burning topics, and that's you who should take care of that. Pods and experiments is important, but do not make it too much. Documenting, well, should be good to have it, but usually we don't. And resources needed. That's how we distribute QAs around the company. And my approach is, it depends. We don't have to always put one QA in one product team because everything depends on the context. Maybe we should have one QA team and no QAs inside the team. It always depends. And that's how I work. Every week in a different way. And that's doing agile. That's being agile, not doing agile. And the fourth thing, and I like it, it's about being influencer or trendsetter. I have no bloody idea what is the difference between influencer and trendsetter, but someone said there is a difference. So I'm too old to have that definition understood. So influencing, what does it mean to influence? Well, being speaker. I mean, not like me on a stage, but talk to people. And it's about social skills. And if you say you have no good social skills, that's bullshit. Because it's like normal skill. If you can learn programming Python, you can learn how to discuss to people and argument your own ideas. That's just normal skill. Not very easy to learn, but is Python easy? I mean, for me it's easy, but is Java easy? So if you have something to say, just do it. Don't think about it. It's like very normal. I think about it and maybe I will say it. And then you'll never say it. Just talk to people. And stop being nice. That's what I like. And that's my new discovery. If you are too nice, people, you are very easy to be influenced from other. If you have good idea, just talk in a normal way and be proactive. If you are not proactive, what can you do? Just sitting and like this single QA at the beginning of the presentation. Oh, I'm just clicking. I have no time even to talk. And make things happen. Making things happen is how you actually do. That's your professional life. And one pro tip, what I do now is like I sell my idea doing workshops or whatever. Last time I did workshop how to estimate tasks in story points. I never did it. I just learned and then did workshop because I knew that would be useful. And then nobody realized I had no bloody idea how to do it. And then after that, if there were any arguments we shouldn't do it, I said, if you have any idea, just let me know. If you have any better idea, just let me know. That's my proposition. Let's try this one. As you can assume, nobody said that. Never. Because people, especially developers, don't like it. Don't like to give initiatives. That's win for you. And fake it till you make it. Do you know that phrase? Actually, I discovered it quite not so far, not so long time ago. Oh, that's how Google categorize stuff. Like, you know, that's docs. The example with how to estimate things. Yeah, that's a great example. Fake it till you make it. And now I can learn you from, like, even now, how to estimate. And just a few months ago, I had no idea. So what can I do to achieve that? Whoa, sky's the limit. You can execute exploratory sessions around the company. I did it like a couple of weeks ago before I had no idea how to do it, of course. And now we have regular exploratory sessions with all the competencies around the company, like even HR there was recently. Task estimation, that's the second example. Simple bugs reporting, so something different. Risk mitigation or behavior-driven development. Maybe it's the solution, maybe not. It depends on your context. So, what did you learn here? I have just this pyramid to show you. Being a great QA, especially in startup, but as you see, not only startup, because mostly it relates to every dynamic company. Being a great leader, not by name, but by heart, by skills. Being a great QA, which is embedded into your profession. Being a great fast mover, so able to adapt quickly, working in agile environment. So not working Scrum, but doing agile. And the last thing being influencer or trendsetter, you can choose. And that's one sentence as the last. Richard Branson wrote the book, Screw It, Let's Do It. And it's called to action. I like it. The book is good, but not very perfect. But that sentence is awesome. It's just, screw it, let's do it, let's act. Do not think, let's try to do it. Yeah, thanks to my team for the presentation. PyTech means like soft version of Python programming language, I'm a lover of that. Luna is from Sailor Moon, and Kafka is from How to Train Your Dragon, that guy. Yeah, thanks. If you have any questions, you can find me here. Yeah, thank you.
What does it mean it's the what's
whoever
the
you want.
difference?
Whoever you want. Now I'm manager by name. Before I was just, I don't remember the name actually. Being a QA agent, like trying to do as much as you can to trigger people to act, not just think, and to influence other people to do better stuff towards quality, because we talk about quality. But you can use it to any area.
Hi, my name is Julia. I have a question. Could you tell by, for example, months or about the time you spent to grow your team? For example, you were 1K, then you described your for your team that you need one more or two more K, and how many time you spent to collect information, to present it, and what you did to receive, for example, 2 additional K, not one, because money is important.
Yeah, sure. So just based on current status, we have 4 QAs and 2 vacancies opened and 2 new one for Q1. So now it's growing much faster, like logarithmically. But the first QA I get was after half a year, and it was QA intern. That was by name, but then it was like, let's find someone with better skills and so on. And now we just hired a regular QA. How much time does it take? If you ask about aggregating statistics, it's not much time as your daily work routine, because you should just set up and then aggregate, like ask people, hey, you can count it, how much time you spent, or count bugs and show how much time does it take to pull the most important bugs, or count money. Yeah, like money is good argument always, and say we lost that that amount of money, and we can hire new person for that amount of money. Or what I did, and that's other stuff. People, the company was more willing to have external testing team, like crowd testing and so on, and then just prepare like business case. What is the pros and cons of having internal and external? The most important is you invest, you spend money, but there is no return in terms of knowledge. If you have internal, the person is still learning and learning and learning, and she's up to date, or he or she. So, and other statistics, well, it's up to you. But sometimes it takes time to get those numbers.
There was a point about crowdsourced testing POC on your roadmap, yeah, and how do you use crowdsourced testing? And do you still use it? Yeah.
Officially or unofficially?
Let's say the truth.
Okay, officially, because the company was willing more to spend money on crowdsourced testing, because it's single payment, you just pay. And my goal behind was to show how many bugs, important bugs, we still have, and why we should react much faster and have internal QA inside the company. So yeah, it depends. Like you can always use what the company is doing to adapt to your goal, and that's example with crowdsourcing.
So finally, is it just outsourcing?
No, we have only internal QAs now, and last 4 companies I worked for, we had only internal QAs, so no more crowdsourced testing.
Thanks for the presentation. And you said that everything has started from finding the problem. And when did you realize that you have a problem about the quality? Is there somebody? I mean, that usually there is a product owner who knows the value of the product, who knows the feedback, and etc. And it seems like you are the change agent for the quality. And where did you get this problem from? How did you understand that you have problems?
Usually that's company understanding you have problem. Like at some point there is so much pain in the ass that you need to do something. Like your developers say, fuck it. I changed the company because here I do only bug fixing. Or product owner says, it doesn't work again, we lost that kind of money. So unfortunately, or fortunately, it's naturally. So there is a point that someone inside the company says, screw it. I don't want to do it anymore. And that's call for action. Very often you are not inside the company, or you can be the one who say loudly, hey, we have a problem. And that's major issue with that. Money, people, customers, time spent, whatever. You need to just identify what's the most important.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, I have 4 T-shirts. All the questions were perfect. Can I give all of them? Okay, so I have 4 T-shirts. People who ask the question, you can come here and grab the T-shirt. Thanks.